think we're live, Anita Moorjani.
Oh my gosh, we're live already. I am live
Best-selling
with Liz
author,
Dawn.
Anita Moorjani, the fabulous Anita Moorjani.
and I'm with the fabulous Liz Dawn. Oh my God.
I found the cutest video from us from the last CYL in Sedona, where I have to send you this video. It's so adorable of the two of us like giggling and you're my number one fan. No, I'm your number one fan. It's very cute. And then of course Danny popping in.
Oh, that trip was so fun. That was when you had the Halloween party and I went as Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
That was
good
hilarious.
Afternoon, everybody. Hi. I am here today in beautiful sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, and Anita Moorjani is with me today. We have Anita Moorjani, New York Times bestselling author of several books, and her latest book that I'm super excited about, which we've been reading all month. I've been popping in and talking about the book and going through chapters with all of you. And so we are talking about her book, her latest book, Sensitive is the New Strong. Ta-da! The Power of Empaths in an Increasingly Harsh World. So we've been reading this all month, as you know, and now we've got Anita here at the end of the month to talk with us, to chat with us, to answer questions. Yay! And if you're here watching, say hello. Say hello. There's Gina Marie. Hi.
Yay. Hello, Gina Marie.
So what's going on in your world besides writing a fabulous book?
So much has been going on. So I've gone in this whole new direction of speaking to sensitive people and empaths. It's like a whole new door, a whole new direction, which has just been, I've really loved talking about this and helping people through this. And it has allowed me to be creative in a whole different way, because prior to this, my previous books were more focused on the near-death experience and the healing from the cancer and so on. But during my journey in the last few years, what I realized is that one of the reasons I got sick in the first place was because I was so sensitive. That, I spoke in my first and second book about how I was a doormat and how I couldn't say no to people and how I was a people pleaser and how that led me to getting sick. What I didn't realize is that I am an empath, and it's a thing. It's it's something you have to work with and understand. And so realizing this has opened a whole new door for me, where I realized that, oh wow, everything that I talk about being sick and about being a doormat and about my body viscerally responding to outside events, there are other people who feel this way, and we call them empaths. And so I have just continued to not only write, but just develop content and videos and an online platform just to support empaths. Yes. And so that has been, I really loved doing it, because if I may go on a little bit more about this, one of the things I've noticed is that for a lot of empaths, one of the things they keep saying is it feels really hard living in this world right now. It's really tough. People are having a tough time. And so one of the things I realized is that the reason why it feels so hard is because the world is not run by empaths. It's not created for empaths. It's not created for empaths in mind. And so this is why empaths are struggling. It's because they're the loudest voices among us, the most aggressive people among us, the ones who get into leadership positions are not empaths. Exactly. So this world is not designed for empaths. That's why empaths struggle. And
I love that you. Yeah. I love that. I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. I love that you said that, because first of all, let's get down to defining empaths. Now, and I'm going to give my definition, then I definitely want to hear what you have to share about it. And how many of you out there are empaths, are extremely sensitive? So we define the way I define an empath is picking up on everyone else's energy and the world's energy and everything that's going on out there. And, being so compassionate and sensitive to the energies that are around us. So I'd love to hear exactly what you have to share about what it really means. What is an empath? Let's define that.
Yes. So to me, an empath is someone who literally picks up and absorbs the energy of the world and the energy of the people around them. So the difference between someone who is, say, highly sensitive, basically it's a spectrum. You have people that are not so sensitive, and then you have people that are more sensitive. And so you have people who are highly sensitive who know what other people are feeling. You can know that, oh, that person, I know what they're feeling. But then you step over the line into empath, and an empath not only knows what you're feeling, but they are also feeling it with you in their own body. And so an empath can walk into a room, and they can, and you could have people in there that are depressed or low or been through some trauma, and the empath can walk out of the room and feel, oh my gosh, I really feel low. I feel depleted. My energy's gone. I don't know why. They often don't even realize that they've picked up the energy of other people. And very often an empath cannot differentiate between their own energy and those of other people. So a highly sensitive person can pick up on what other people are feeling, but they know it's not theirs. They know that, oh, this person is feeling this way. This person is feeling this way. And they're very good at helping them heal. Like highly sensitive people make really good healers and even frontline emergency medical workers, because they know what the other person needs. Right. But an empath not only knows, but they feel it in their own body. That's where the difference is.
It's so interesting, that we're talking about this. I have an 84-year-old aunt, and she has a very traditional Judaic background. We're Jewish, and she has a very traditional conservative Jewish background. And as she's watching what's going on in the world, and she really loves watching the news, she's extremely politically involved, etc., her energy is getting lower and lower and lower and more depleted and depressed. And I tried to explain this the other day, that she is an empath. I believe that she is picking up on everything she's seeing in the news, all the people that are having challenges and difficulties right now, and not knowing how to set that boundary. So that's the next question I have for you. And then we absolutely have to get to the book, because I want to read a couple of things. I want to tell you, this is a very, very important book. And by the way, for those of you who have not picked it up this month, this is what we've been reading for the CYL book club this month in July. And this is Anita's new book, Sensitive is the New Strong: The Power of Empaths in an Increasingly Harsh World. And Tanya's going to post a link to it for those of you who haven't had a chance to purchase yet. Please go grab it. It's a super important book, because so many people have been called, oh, you're too sensitive, oh, you're too emotional, oh, you're too dramatic. Imagine somebody calling me that, right? Or you're too, overly expressive. I mean, I know that there's so many of you out there, and you can post it in the comments. How many of you have been called too sensitive or too emotional and been shamed for it? Yes. And so this book helps all of us step out of that shame and into our power, And I love the way you take us on a journey in the book of working through that, of stepping into our power and owning it and claiming it. It's really beautiful. It's a very important book, you guys.
But thank you.
I want to read a couple of excerpts that I really love.
Please.
And you all know I've been doing this throughout this whole month. I was coming on and doing Facebook Live and reading through the book, so people can get an idea of it and what's happening in the book. So this is in chapter 3, and it talks about how to live life more optimally as an empath. And for those of you that have questions, make sure and post them in the comments so we can ask Anita some questions. So you're all going to love this. I mean, this explained it so beautifully. I just love this. Embracing your sixth sensory self can expand your world. When you open your eyes, as we talked about in chapter 1, everything is brighter and more intense. If you've spent years suppressing your very essence, tamping down what makes you unique, you're flooded with feelings, emotions, and insights. Allowing yourself to feel everything and more deeply, you'll find that much of what you perceive can bring pain, but it can also bring great joy. And in that joy lies freedom.
Yes.
I love that. It totally turns it around from feeling like, how do I, move through this? So I'd love for you to answer how, when you are an empath, when you're picking up too much of other people's energy, is there a way, and I know you talk about it in the book, but I want you to talk about it now.
Yes, of
Share with
course.
us a few tips on how we can set those boundaries for ourselves energetically.
Okay, so I love that. So first of all, I'm going to say that I don't want you to think of them so much as boundaries of blocking things out, but more as an expansion of your own self and your own energy so that you have the power and you have the freedom to decide what comes into your energetic space. So it's more like an opening up rather than a closing down and I'm going to be behind these boundaries. It's more like, this is my energetic space and I get to choose what comes into it or not. So with that thought in mind, so for the people around here who are more visual, here's how I'd like you to think. Why do I say that sensitive is the new strong? Or why are empaths actually really strong, but they don't realize it? We see it as a weakness that we feel everything around us. But I want you to think of it this way. It's because of the metrics we use to describe what is strong and what is weak. And what if those metrics are flawed and actually empaths are the strong ones? And here's why. Empaths actually have a huge energy field. This is why you know what you know and you feel what you feel. So when you have a huge energy field, when your aura is so big that you are overlapping with other people's auras, you are literally, your energy is overlapping with other people's energies. And you have never been taught this. You have never been told this, that, hey, your energy is so big, you are so powerful, you need to learn differently from other people whose energies are really small. You need a really different way of learning how to manage this huge energy field you have. And you are in the minority. Like most of the people here don't have that expanded energy field. And so this world has not been designed for somebody like you. So that's what I would want empaths to know. You have this huge energy field, and as you navigate through this world, you're taking this huge energy field with you. And when you're taking it, people are entering your energy field all the time because it's so big, and you're feeling what they're feeling. But if you knew the truth, that you're feeling what they're feeling because you have this huge energy field, and if you knew that all you have to do is uplift yourself. Again, something we've never been taught. You have to uplift yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, find your own joy before you rescue other people. So when your energy field is uplifted and light and strong, everybody who enters your energy field is uplifted by you. So instead of you being entrained or aligned with them going down, they become aligned with you and they come up to your level. That's what I want empaths to know, that you are actually powerful, but you have been conditioned to believe that you are weak because you feel what everybody else feels. Whereas,
and then we also, don't you feel that empaths also get, and I'm seeing some of your questions, Chris, I see your comment, and Amy, I see your questions also. So I'll come back to that. But don't you think that, oh shoot, what was I going to ask you? So it went completely out of my head.
Oh, it'll come back. It'll come back. Something to do with the energy field and our expanded and
So what you're saying, so what I hear you saying is that we have to learn as empaths to, instead of getting, oh, this is what it was, instead of feeling depleted by other people's energy, right?
yes.
We can stay in our, are you saying stay in our own bubble, our own circle of energy, and not
And
like,
yes, and realize that your energy is actually very powerful and very big, but the reason you're feeling depleted is that you are not honoring yourself and you have taken on something that's not yours. So right now, what we're doing is we're constantly like if you listen to the news, you become depleted because you're
right,
taking on all the problems of the world and all the problems that are going on outside of you. And all of that stuff that's happening on the outside world, when we hear it, it makes us feel helpless. It makes us feel like victims because there's nothing we can do about it.
oh yes,
And that depletes us. But in truth, you have so much power over your own life. You are not a victim. But because this world was not designed for you, and so the way that the news is delivered, the way that, like basically, the way that that this world is designed, it's designed for people to. It makes you like everything about it, about the news, the way it's delivered, about the way that. Yes, it just makes you feel like a victim. Whereas in reality, what happens is that as a sixth sensory being, because one of the things I teach in the book is that empaths are sixth sensory beings. And what is a sixth sensory being? A sixth sensory being is someone who has very, very strong intuition. Mm-hmm. And your intuition is as strong as your other five senses. But because since you were a child, you were told that it's your imagination and don't be so sensitive. And if, especially if you're a male, if you're a boy, you're told, oh, man up and boys don't cry. Oh. Because when your sixth sense is so strong, you feel other people's emotions. So you feel emotional, you feel like crying, you feel like you want to help the world. And so you were then told to suppress that emotion. So you are a sixth sensory being trying to fit into a world that has been created for five sensory beings. So you are going through life suppressing a big part of you. That part of you is as strong as your sense of sight or your sense of hearing or smell or touch. So imagine if you're being told, go through life with your eyes closed and pretend you're blind. That's what you're being told as an empath. You've been told, go through life suppressing that intuition or that sixth sense, and you've been told that's your imagination. It's like being told your eyesight is your imagination, like what you see is that's how strong it is. And so then what happens is then because your sixth sense is being suppressed, you're forced to live in a five sensory, three-dimensional world. And when you feel these feelings and your intuition and you feel this is not right, there's something wrong here, I sense there's more happening. And then you're made to feel that, oh, you don't fit in and you're crazy and you're woo-woo. And so then you end up suppressing it because you want to belong and you want to fit in.
Oh, boom. That whole thing. Starting with the way the media presents it, to the way we don't fit in, to that the world isn't built for us. Absolutely. All of that. Did you all get that? Are you all taking copious notes on this one? All right, we've got a couple of questions, but I really love what you shared about all of this, and especially what you said about the news, because it's the way it's being said. It's not even what's being said. It's the way. It's like they could be saying there's a pandemic of puppies running loose in Los Angeles and everybody's going out and playing with them, right?
Exactly right.
It's
exactly
so
right.
Like, be talking about fuzzy kittens and cute little kittens, but the way they just, the way they
I love that.
it puts out this energy of
And then
anger
that
and
music.
aggressiveness.
Yeah, that music in the background that goes boom, 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 boom. While they're saying it.
It's like the music they use in thrillers. Bum, 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 bum. Right?
Yes. Breaking news. There's a litter of puppies running loose.
I know. Exactly. All right, so Amy's got some questions here, and she thinks you may have already answered the question already, and if you have, that's fine, but there's two questions she has. Is it possible to set boundaries with information perceived via clairvoyance? Because she wakes up joyful, but by the end of the day, she's wiped out. It can get so crowded. What specific tools can we use?
That's a great question. So yes, you can actually request your higher self, or you can actually filter what you are getting in. And so the thing to do, though, is to be sure that the reason you're feeling depleted, is it because you're getting clairvoyant messages, or is it because it's this physical world that's depleting you? Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I want you to differentiate, because I'm feeling, my sense from her question is that it could be a combination of both, or it could be because she's finding that the physical world is not aligning with the clairvoyant messages she's getting, because mm-hmm. that's something that depletes me as well. I get all these insights and I'm like, oh, how do I put them into practice? Because this world is going so crazy. And so you really have to take time out. So what I would suggest as a tool is you have to slow down. You really do have to slow down, and you have to take long pauses. If you are an empath, if you are getting a lot of intuition and insights and aha moments, your mind and your body and your spirit wants you to slow down and take a lot of pauses. Another thing that we have been conditioned to do, which I suspect is also what's depleting you, is that we have been conditioned to be action oriented, that every time we're feeling something, that we have to do something about it. It's like, even if you're diagnosed with an illness, or if you're fatigued, or if you're depleted, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? What do I have to do to fix this? Sometimes, yes, we all do that. Even, and I even tell people who've been diagnosed with an illness, when they say, oh my God, what do I do? Do I do naturopathic? Do I do, alternative, or do I go conventional, blah, blah. I always say, just pause, just stop. The only way that you can get the right messages is if you have a gap, between your thoughts in your stream of thoughts and actions, a gap. And in that gap, do mindless things. If you have to do something mindless, like just wash dishes, or go for a walk, or go stare at the ocean, or soak in a tub. Mindless things like that. Go take a shower. That's when you get your greatest answers and your insights. And that's when your batteries charge. It's literally when you do nothing. And then when you do something, you're doing it from the guidance you received from when you were doing nothing.
That is brilliant. It's brilliant. Because it gives you, it's like it's giving you some space. It's giving you some distance from it, some space from it, to give your mind and your emotions and your physical body a break.
Yes, that's exactly it. You would be surprised, even people who are dealing with illness, they are so stressed and so frenetic about how to heal their illness. They don't realize that all their body is asking for is rest. Literally, that's it. Their body is not saying, go research this, go do this healing, go do that. They're very often, all their body is saying is, stop. If you just give me the space, I will heal.
I'm laughing because I do that myself so much. When there's something wrong, it's like, I'm on the internet, I'm researching it. What do I do? What protocol? What therapeutic process? Same thing.
Yeah. And sometimes all your body wants you to do is rest. That's it. And it'll take care of the rest.
I think, Bill, I think she may have answered your question, but I'll put it out here again, but I have a feeling she answered this, but Bill wants to know, do you have any thoughts on empaths protecting themselves from the destructive energetic emanations of the larger societal zeitgeist? There were a lot of big words in that one.
Yeah, there are a lot of big words. So I would say, I have semi-answered it. So, okay, so here's the thing. All that societal zeitgeist is coming from people who are filled with fear. And fearful people propagate fear. Empaths actually have a connection. And the reason why we end up buying into this fear is because we get convinced that we don't have this connection. And so back to what I was saying, we actually have this huge energetic field, which is why we feel the problems of the world. Whereas people who are not empaths, people who are not even sensitive, again, I said it was a spectrum. So a lot of people who are attracted to the kind of work we do, the kind of work you do, Liz, the kind of work I do, are at least sensitive, if not full-blown empaths. But I'm talking about people who are not so sensitive. The people who are not so sensitive, they don't feel the pain of other people. What that means is their energetic field is smaller. It's much closer to their bodies. And so it's all about me, 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 me. Unfortunately, those same people, because they don't feel for other people, it's all about me, 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 their voices are the loudest. They are the most fearful because they don't have this connection and they don't feel this connection. Because they are the most fearful and it's all about me and their voices are the loudest, unfortunately, they are also the most aggressive. They are also the people we end up putting into positions of power. And so one of the things I speak about in my book is about how it starts with the self, starting with realizing that the reason you feel this way is because you have a much stronger energy force. You are not the weaker one, as you have been led to believe. You are actually the stronger among us. And if we don't start recognizing this as a strength, we will be at the brink of our own extinction. If the world is led by the fearful, fear-propagating ones with the weaker force field, with the weaker energy, and who those are the people we're putting into power. If the world is led by them, we will be at the brink of our own extinction. Because if you look at it, even before this whole pandemic fiasco, whatever we want to call it, even before that, if you look at the biggest leaders of the biggest countries in the world, the biggest nations in the world, what were they doing? Instead of spending all their money and their resources on helping to feed each other, instead, they were all using all their resources to see who had the biggest nuclear weapons. Every country was just comparing the size of their nuclear weapons. And so if you look at the direction of the world, if the world was led by empaths, would they be doing that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we have a very strong imbalance. And so, but I'm not asking you to go out and change the world as an empath. All I'm asking you to do is to realize the strength and the power you have within you. That's all. That's all. If enough empaths realized how powerful they are, that in actuality, if we had a different metric by which to measure strength, if the metric was the size of your energy field, empaths would be considered extremely strong. And the ones who are currently in power would be seen as being the weak ones, because they are the ones who actually have the weaker and more fear-based energy field.
Anita for president. That's what I have to say. I'll be vice president, okay? Danny will be Secretary of State. And we'll have some of our friends here. No, but you're absolutely right. If this was like, think about that. Like, think about if all the roles were switched,
Yes.
what a completely different world we would be living in. And that we can start to do that in our own worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Start
It's
within
having our,
yourself.
what I hear you saying is having our energy become more prevalent than the one that is fearful, than the one that is angry, than the one that is depressing. Our energy becomes bigger than the ones that we're picking up on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The negative stuff that we're taking in.
Exactly. And
Okay.
also, we need to stop worshiping people who are ruthless and competitive. We need to stop voting for people like that and putting them into positions of power. We need to stop encouraging our children, our own children, to be competitive and ruthless. We need to promote compassion instead. And empathy. These need to be stronger values, empathy and compassion versus competition and ruthlessness. That's what we need to start.
I want a t-shirt. Sensitive is my superpower. Sensitive is the new strong. Yes. Okay, so let me go through the comments because I think there's all kinds. Noelle has a beautiful comment. She says that she hasn't watched the news since January, way too toxic and hypocritical.
Yes.
And it's that voice. It's that angry, scary puppy voice. Right? I think I'm going to do a parody on it. I'm going to do a parody on the news.
I think you should, and make it fluffy kittens that are loose.
Fluffy kittens. There are fluffy kittens roaming the streets.
Yes, beware.
So true. Bill says most empaths leave those type of professions, politics, media, management levels of healthcare, and those at the top end up sociopathic and devoid of positive and nurturing personalities. I kind of agree with that, Bill. Yes. And Noelle says we have to learn not to be threatened by others who have a different path. True. Yes.
Yes.
And Naomi's saying no sound. We'll just turn up your volume. I just think this is absolutely. Oh, Suzanne is here. Suzanne. So Suzanne Lovner. I have known her since our mommies were pregnant together.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I know. We found each other on Facebook. We found each other on Facebook, I don't know, about a year or so ago. And she's this vegan extraordinaire chef, motorcycle riding, kitten loving mama.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So great. So Noelle says that I had to leave the mental health profession because it was too toxic. What does that say? Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly what you were talking about is that the energy was just devoid of any kind of compassion or sensitivity. Yeah.
And I want to share a little funny story that happened to me during an interview with the media. I think it should be okay for me to share it here. I was once, a couple of times actually, I was asked to be interviewed on, believe it or not, Fox News. And this was a couple of years ago. And so when I announced that, I'm going to be on Fox News, and of course, a lot of people said that, oh, wow, be careful. And, you don't know which way they're going to go with your story and stuff. And I said, I'm going to be fine. Everybody needs to hear about this. And they were wonderful. There were 3 presenters, and I was there sitting on the couch with them, and they were absolutely wonderful. And I shared my story, the story of the near-death experience, the cancer healing, all of it. And I shared it all. And one of the presenters even had tears in their eyes, and it was so moving. And then after it was over and we were off the air and the mics were off, one of the presenters actually said to me, like he actually came right up to me and practically held my hands, and he said, "That was so beautiful and moving. It's so much better than the CRAP that we normally have to report about here." He actually said that to me.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So, they're human behind the cameras and all that. When they're off the air, they're all human. I think they get tired of this too.
Yeah, what's happening is that people are coming out more and more. I mean, you see what's happening in the world where people are reporting things that no longer serve them, and reporting abuses or things like that. People are stepping up and really, really speaking out about what's happening. Okay. Oh, Gina Marie has a question. Any insight into returning to work after 1.5 years working from home? I work in email marketing. Oh, Gina Marie, we should talk. Oh, we have talked, Gina Marie. I know who you are. I work in email marketing, so there is no reason why I have to be at the office except for they are saying it is required. How can I return to work joyfully, even with all the personalities, stressors, and rules? Good question.
Wow, that's a good question. So, first of all, be gentle with yourself and be aware that, the last year and a half has taken a toll on a lot of people. It's changed you. So, be very gentle with yourself. And when you go in, if you're not feeling like interacting with people, be sure to honor who you are. And this is important. This is really important for you to do that, because it might take a little while for you to ease yourself in. So what I would suggest almost is that in the beginning, don't make any lunch commitments with your colleagues or dinner commitments and things like that. Don't go full in until you are sure that's what you want to do. So go gently with yourself and make sure that, or think in advance that it's kind of like, I would almost say, treat it like you're planning a trip somewhere. So if you are going away somewhere, let's say you were planning a trip to Costa Rica or somewhere, you would think ahead, what am I going to need? What kind of clothes am I going to need? Am I going to need insect repellent? Am I going to need, so think of it like, okay, I'm going back to work after a year and a half. What kind of things do I need to help me to ease into that? So think of it that way. So take a good book for your lunchtime, or take your ear pods. Yes, take my book. Take your ear pods with which to listen to music or to listen to an audio book, and find time, like little breaks, and take little breaks. Take your chamomile tea, take a few things like that. Even take some of the photos on your desk, so it makes you feel like you're at home. Oh yes, crystal wands. Put things around your desk to increase your energy and to protect you. And so try and make it like a similar atmosphere to what you had at home. Take yourself out for walks, but actually plan this before you start going into work. Yeah. And don't think that you're going to just jump right in with both feet and be going out for lunch with your colleagues and going out for drinks after. Don't think in those terms, because if you do that, it will actually deplete you the very first week you're at work.
I love all of that. And it's so great to have reminders with you, and keeping what you said, like pictures or books, or, like little, Anita. So what do you guys think? Don't we need to take a lot of the sayings out of here and create like a card deck? So every day you pull a different thing, you have it in front of you, and you have to create this.
I really want to. Yes, I'm going to. I'm actually going to, after I get off this call with you, I'm actually going to write to my agent and propose it to her right away.
Yes.
Yes.
Such a great idea.
I'm going to tell her to pitch it.
And we need to be more, I almost feel like the people who are empaths and sensitive in our community, we just need to be more visible. We need to have a place where we can be more visible and put these things out. Gina Marie, when you're going back to work, to put the things out that you're proud of, that keeps you strong, that keeps you centered, whether it's, a crystal around your neck or crystals at your desk or having this beautiful book on your desk. I mean, just the artwork alone makes me happy.
I love that.
It's true. So I want to read something else in the book that really touched my heart. And I would like to share this with everyone, for those of you who haven't read the book yet. Is it kind of fun hearing your words read out loud?
It is kind of fun. It is fun hearing it from someone else. It gives me goosebumps when you read it.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had the same reaction, and I read it, and when I was reading it out loud, I was like, oh, very cool. All right, this is just another beautiful piece from the book, and we're talking about Anita Moorjani's new book, whoops, this way. Sensitive is the new strong, the power of empaths in an increasingly harsh world. And Tanya, if you don't have it, Tanya, my assistant, will put it in the comments, the link to go ahead and purchase it. So you all know that Anita had a near-death experience. She had a miracle healing. That's what I call it, the miracle healing and near-death experience. And so this part of the book speaks to that. And I got to tell you, Wayne is so behind these words. For those of you who don't know this, Wayne Dyer introduced Anita to myself and to a lot of spiritual teachers and into the spiritual community. And I feel like he found Anita and he brought you to us. And Anita and Wayne were very dear friends. So it says here from Anita, when I died, I realized that there's no gender in the other realm. There's no gender because we have no biology. We're just pure spiritual beings. We're magnificent beyond belief. We're strong. We're powerful. These qualities are all part of who we are, all part of loving ourselves, all part of the universal consciousness. We want to embrace them in our physical life. Our empathy and sensitivity, as well as our assertiveness, our masculinity, as well as our femininity, it's all equally important in forming the whole that is each of us. Think of the concept, for example, of yin and yang. There's no judgment in that realm about which of these qualities is more positive or negative. In fact, there's absolutely no judgment in that realm, period. This awareness felt so real. It felt so right. I love that. Absolutely love that, because you're once again affirming, and of course you know this from your near-death experience, that we're strong, we're powerful, we're spiritual beings, and that is it. And we're more powerful than we ever imagined ourselves to be. So really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. We are, and that's the thing, is that when we are without our physical bodies, when we are in the other realm, we realize how powerful we are, which we are. We are incredibly powerful and magnificent. I mean, just think about it, a pure physical essence, and without all the issues that we accumulate over here. Now, the thing about empaths, they don't realize their true power. Empaths have a tendency to become people pleasers and doormats because they feel everybody's feelings. But what an empath doesn't realize is that as an empath, you are actually closer, because an empath is so sensitive, because they feel their true essence. They feel that connection to all other beings. You are actually closer to that state I describe beyond life, that state of the other realm, that powerful state, than a non-empath. You're actually more in tuned and aligned with that state than someone who is not sensitive, not intuitive, not empath. And yet, an empath has a tendency to feel weaker than someone who's not empath, whereas in actuality, you are more aligned with that powerful state of non-physical.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's so amazing to me, because but then we're taught to shrink. We're taught to be small. Rachel has a question, and I think she's already answered this, but I know you've already answered this, but I'm going to ask it again. What is your number one tip to protect your energy?
So, okay, so this is interesting, because I want you to realize that your energy is so strong that it doesn't need protection. So the first thing is to don't think of it in terms of I am protecting my energy. Because the minute you say I need protecting, you've become the victim, you've become weak. You've made yourself weak, or you've told yourself I am weak, I need protecting, my energy needs protecting. So the number one is my energy does not need protecting. but I need to realize how strong I am. I need to realize how powerful my energy is. And the number one tip in doing that is to realize and to know that I matter. I matter. In this world, I came here, my essence, my soul came here for a reason. It came here for a purpose. And I need to know that I matter. The point is, all of us matter, but we don't all know that we matter. We need to know we matter. And maybe that hasn't exactly answered her question. Who was it again that asked?
No, Rachel says, oh.
Rachel. Yeah.
That's how I interpreted that, Rachel. When
Good.
You said, oh.
I like that. I like that. So what you are focusing on is not protecting that energy, but more like expanding it and being aware that it is big, it is expanded, and it's becoming aware that the more you are aware of how you can expand your energy, the more you can actually uplift the people around you. And so the tools I give are more tools on how to expand your energy as opposed to protect your energy.
Love it. She said, thank you. I love this book. Yep, that's what she's saying. So here's an interesting question. And Janice Peterson has a question. What about those who get mad at you because they know, wait a minute, because they know you are powerful? Because what about those who get mad at you because they know you are powerful? Okay.
Yeah, they get mad at you because you know you're powerful.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to worry about them, because the thing is, interestingly, with power, with true power comes humility.
It's true.
Yeah. And most people think that the more aggressive, louder people among us have true power. But actually, no, their loudness or their aggression comes from a lack of feeling powerful. It comes from overcompensating. But when someone is truly powerful and they know they're powerful, they don't need to actually, they don't need to announce it. And when people recognize you're powerful, even if they get upset or mad at you, you probably won't notice. It probably won't affect you, because when you are truly powerful, all you want is for other people to know that they are loved and that they are powerful. Because here's one of the things you realize when you truly are powerful. You really do realize that all the problems of this world come not from too much power or too much love or too much selfishness, or it comes from too little self-love and too little power. It comes from people overcompensating. And so when you are truly powerful, all you want to do is share that energy and that love with everybody so that they can realize they don't need to go out and be aggressive or beat people up to get what they want. You want them to know, you want them to feel. Like, one of the things I remember when I actually died and when I crossed over to the other side, I felt nothing. I felt so powerful, so incredible, and so loved. But not only did I feel just so loved by the universe, by source, I just felt so unconditionally loved that all I felt for everybody, including anybody that had wronged me, was also pure love. And even if somebody, let's say if someone was a murderer, all I would feel for them is pure love, because what I felt was like, oh my gosh, I really feel the pain that you felt that caused you to do what you did. If only you knew the love that I know now, you would never have done or never do what you're doing. That's what you feel. That's what true power feels like, where you only want good for people so that they can feel what it feels like to feel love and expanded and powerful, so that they know they don't need to hurt anybody else.
And that's a wrap. That was like mic drop. Boom. That was beautiful. It was absolutely beautifully stated. Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you all so much for joining us. Please make sure, if you haven't picked up the book yet, pick up the book. Sensitive is the New Strong, Anita Moorjani. And Tanya posted the link, so you can scroll up in the comments and see the link to go and purchase that, or just go to your favorite bookseller and go and grab it. But I so appreciate you taking so much time with us today and talking to us about your new book and being an empath and how to take care of ourselves. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. That was so much fun. I love talking to you.
And thank you, everybody else out there. And I will announce the August book in the next few days. And we will see you soon. Mwah! Have a fabulous weekend.